Brilliance Audio presents Blood Ties by Alexander Hartung. Translated by Fiona Beaton. Performed by Chris Andrew Shula. The bar's interior was alluring. High leather stools stood before a dark cherrywood bar, while to the back of it were towering mirrored shelves, stocked with expensive single-malt whiskey. Each of the small tables was occupied, and a Premier League game was playing on a television. The game's commentary had been turned off, and in its place rolled the smoky tones of Tom Waits, telling the story of a prostitute from Minneapolis. At one of the tables, deep within the bar's dusky yellow light, an attractive red-headed woman moved sedately with the melancholy music. Her eyes were closed, and she held a tumbler of ice in her hand. John had always enjoyed coming here, but not anymore. Nowadays, he didn't like to be around other people. Come to think of it, he didn't even like venturing out of his flat, and only did so if he really had to. But the informant he was meeting today was of the old school. Details were never given over the phone, and emails and text were strictly avoided. As such, the only option left had been to meet face-to-face in a public place. John sat down at the bar, ordered an 18-year-old Talisker, and picked a pretzel stick from a glass. "I don't have much time," came a voice from behind him, a voice so deep and raspy it would have made for a perfect duet with Mr. Waits himself. An older man sat down beside him, drink in hand. His creased, bearded face told of a life of alcohol, and his hair, shaggy and gray, hung down to the frames of his dark sunglasses. He looked older than his 49 years. "And I don't want to be here long," replied John, passing the man an envelope under the bar. "You asked me to look out for strange cases and incidents at the police," said the man, accepting the envelope with trembling fingers. "That's right. Not everything gets uploaded onto the CID server," said John as the bartender set down his whiskey in front of him. "So I need someone on the inside." "And why are you so interested in these cases?" "Sometimes there are lines that the CID can't cross, and that's when I come into play. To right some wrongs, you might say." "And how do you do that?" "Probably best you don't know." The man emptied his glass in one gulp, clearly in need of the courage. The ice cubes clinked as he placed his glass back on the bar. "Did you hear about the abduction of the girl this evening?" John nodded. "It's the top news story." "Well, it's normally Unit 11 that deals with abduction and extortion, but people from Unit 7 and homicide were also at the meeting." "What do corporate and homicide have to do with abduction?" asked John. "That's exactly what a lot of us are asking," answered the man. "But nobody on the case will say a word." "Okay, so there's more to the abduction than they're making public?" "Looks like it." "And do you know why?" The man shook his head. "As I said, nobody's talking. It's as if the chief of police has imposed a vow of silence." "Does this kind of thing happen a lot?" "Not in recent years." John stood up and put down a 20-euro note on the bar top. "Thanks for the tip," he said, sliding his untouched glass to the informant. He then made his way to the U-Bahn. Accessing the CID server to download details about the abduction wouldn't be a problem. But after that, he'd need someone well-versed in working dubious cases. Luckily, he had just the man for the job.